Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together.
My name's Johnny, and I'm here to tell you that I found Santa's reindeer. I'm just kidding. That's not really Santa's reindeer. But if we have any young viewers, they're like reindeer in training. They just live on a really special farm. One of my second jobs that I kind of mentioned in a video before, I am a zookeeper, and then I have a couple other jobs because I unfortunately need to have them. But that means I get the opportunity to do kind of cool things sometimes. One of my second jobs, which is just seasonal, so I'll only be working there through December and the first few days of January, is actually working with reindeer, which is really awesome. So I'm there 3 nights a week. It's totally common as someone that doesn't realize that reindeers are real, because I am here to tell you that they are, in fact, real animals. I know, shocker, but really it is. A lot of people are shocked to realize that they're real animals. A lot of people that come think that they honestly were getting ready to see a deer or a horse with sticks or something tied to its head, which is pretty crazy. Not that they would think that, I mean it is, but that someplace would do that to an animal. I don't know, whatever. But some people are like, oh, I feel so dumb. But don't feel dumb if you don't realize that an animal isn't real. There are a lot of animals on this planet, a lot that haven't even been discovered yet. Reindeer are very iconic animals, but with everything that you hear about them, a lot of times some people don't realize that they're actually real animals. And I always tell people, don't feel bad, like you're not the only one that doesn't know. A lot of people don't realize that narwhals are real animals.
Wait, narwhals are real animals?
This is what I get literally every single night. And yes, narwhals are real animals too. If you guys want, I can actually do an episode on narwhals. Just leave a comment down below and let me know if you would like to see that. Then we both will be learning things. I only know a little bit about narwhals. But anyway, back to other Christmas movies. Not that narwhals are Christmas unless you're a big fan of Buddy the Elf. And the movie Elf, I guess. So the reindeer. I am working with 2 reindeer. One's name is Holly. One's name is Dolly. Super cute. A lot of people see Holly and then look at Dolly and say, oh, that must be the boy and that must be the girl. But they're both, in fact, girls. Dolly is just a baby. She's only about 8 months old right now, which is why she has those really itty-bitty, cute, adorable little antlers. Holly is an 8-year-old, so she has very large antlers. That's not 8 years of growth. They drop their antlers every year, like other deer species who have antlers. So here in a couple months, Holly will actually drop her antlers and then start to grow new ones, and they generally, for the most part, will come back bigger every single year, which is pretty crazy. Holly's antlers are very impressive. She's also about 8 years old. At the 6-year mark, that's generally a reindeer's prime, and that's generally the biggest their antlers will be. So, I guess maybe Holly's won't get bigger. I don't know. But like I said, that kind of confuses people, because if you think of a deer species, which reindeer or caribou, which a lot of people have heard of caribou, they're the same thing. There's just a lot of different subspecies out there. You think of our white-tailed deer here, only the males have antlers. With reindeer, there are so many subspecies. Most of them, both the males and the females, actually have antlers. So there's sometimes a year, through a lot of the year actually, you can't tell just by looking at them other than size. If it has antlers, you're not really sure. However, this time of year, and on Christmas Eve, wink wink, only the females actually have antlers. The males have already dropped theirs probably a couple months ago, and they won't start to grow them back here for a little while. And the females keep their antlers longer through Christmas and drop them in the late winter, and then they both will start growing them back. So the females, like Holly, actually need to keep their antlers longer because they need to be able to protect their unborn baby until they can have that baby in the spring, generally in May. So again, the males will drop theirs before the females, but by the time they both are growing their antlers back, they have them back around the same time. The females actually just keep them longer. Again, that means on Christmas Eve, only the girls have their antlers. unless they're babies like Dolly and they have these little sticks on their head, which we've all seen pictures of Santa's reindeer. They're not little tiny reindeer with little sticks on their head. Although, I'm sure, as you can tell, Dolly is not tiny. They are prey animals, so they grow really fast. They will actually double their birth weight 2 weeks after being born, which is crazy. But if you think of wild animals, they need to be able to succeed really quickly. And if you're a prey animal or prey species, and if you live up in someplace like the Arctic, with really harsh conditions, you need to get up and get going and grow really, really quickly. So Dolly, being about 8 months old, she's still very young, but her body size is almost as big as 8-year-old Holly, which is very impressive. People are always shocked that she's a baby, but generally if you watch her demeanor, you can tell that she's still a baby, and she's super adorable. So back to some of the things that people hear. People think that reindeer aren't real. There are other truths behind things that people don't realize are real things. Not that you might not always have reindeer up on your roof, but up on the rooftop, click, 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 is a legitimate thing. Any normal person like myself would think the click, click, click is the hooves on the roof, but it's actually not. They have a tendon in their heel that snaps over a bone that actually makes the clicking sound. So if you're like me, it's just every time I walk or bend over, my knees crack like that. But with them, it's supposed to happen. I swear I'm not old. Scientists believe that clicking sound isn't just a click. If you think again about where they live, there are lots of snowstorms. It might get really foggy. So they think that the clicking actually will help them be able to stick with the herd by listening for those clicks. So if you ever happen to meet a reindeer, if you go to a zoo, if you go to a farm, if you are lucky enough to go out and see reindeer or caribou in the wild, just listen and you can actually hear them click every time they walk, because it's all 4 of their legs clicking whenever they walk around. It's really cool. Yeah, so there's some truth behind some of those things that you hear. Another thing a lot of people don't realize is the whole Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing has a lot of truth behind it too. Depending on the kind of research you do, or what site you look at, or what researcher you kind of, I guess, talk to, there are a couple different stories. For the most part, it has to do with them living in really harsh conditions where it's really cold. They have very densely packed blood vessels in their nose to be able to keep their nose really, really warm. So that way, as they breathe in that cold air, it warms it down before it actually gets into their lungs. Their lungs don't freeze. So with all of those really densely packed blood vessels, sometimes their nose can actually blush, giving it a red appearance. There are other things that we'll show or talk about, how there's actually a fly that will lay its larva in the nose of a reindeer, and they're red, which gives it the red glowing appearance. I'd rather just see a blushing nose, not a glowing red nose, because that sounds gross. But anyways, yeah, so it's really cool. Along with the really harsh conditions that they're living in, which you can find them, by the way, in areas like Alaska, Canada, up in the Arctic, over in Europe where it's really cold. They're in all of those conditions where they have to be built for living in the cold environments. So if you actually think of a polar bear, they have really special fur. They have hollow fur to be able to keep themselves warm. Reindeer have 2 layers of coats. They have their underlayer, and then they have a top layer of hollow fur that holds in the air, and it keeps them warm, but it also actually allows them to float. They're pretty good swimmers. So if you look at migratory types of reindeer or caribou, they will trek across hundreds of miles, and sometimes they'll have to swim for a really good distance too. So having that special fur helps them stay warm and float when they do actually need to swim. And if you actually look at a reindeer, because they live where it's really cold, they have hair everywhere. They have hair, little hairs all over their nose. I think they're the only deer species that have hair covering their nose. And then they have hair all over their feet too, and under their hooves, to be able to stay nice and warm when it's really cold outside. So I think I will wrap this up. Yeah, so reindeer are awesome. Moral of the story, reindeer are real. and I'm getting to work with them, and it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it a lot so far. I think it's a really cool thing to be able to say that I worked with reindeer now. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all learned something. If you guys have any really cool facts about reindeer, or if you have any other ideas, video ideas for me, just leave a comment down below. It would be awesome if you like this video, if you subscribe to this channel. That would be amazing, and I would love you guys so much. But thank you guys so much for coming back again, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Jingle bell,